From diesel to petrol and back to diesel again. That's right, the Audi SQ5 can't seem to make its mind up on what personality it wants to have. For me though, the powertrain in this one suits this car perfectly. Why, you ask? Well, stick around and you might just find out. My name's Tom and you are watching Paragon Cars. Let's go. Now then, specs up first, and you might be surprised to hear this actually has less power than its petrol-powered predecessor, at 341 horsepower instead of 354 horsepower. However, not to worry, as this new one has torque. All the torque, at 700 newton meters, plus an electric motor in the gearbox that gives you that little extra shove. Will it beat its petrol-powered brother on the 30 to 70 sprint though? Well, there's only one way to find out. Let's race. Okay, firstly, this thing is fast, like really fast. Also, not only did it beat the petrol-powered car's time, it matched the time of the monster V8-powered Audi SQ7. Safe to say, this thing is a bit of a weapon then, but what about the inside? Well, for 2020, Audi facelifted the Q5, and did it wrong. They did away with the scroll wheel and gave you some completely pointless storage instead. So, thanks Audi, massive thumbs up for you. That of course means the infotainment is touchscreen only, and of course immensely fiddly when on the move. Hey, at least they kept the physical dials for the climate control, right? Then the back, it's got just about adequate room for anyone under 6 foot, but don't expect it to feel roomy though. The armrest has some neat cup holders and you get your own climate vent for your knees. Now though, we come to the most treacherous piece of design I've seen in the 10 years I've been in the industry. Audi has committed literal fraud with this exhaust system, because not only are the tips entirely fake, they even put a literal speaker in the exhaust to make it sound beefier. To be fair though, it does sound better than a tractor, but those exhaust tips, Audi, just no. Disgusting. Anyway, let's get this beast on the road and see what's what. First things first though, round town, it's an Audi, so it's comfortable, it is quiet, the steering's nice and light, pretty much no complaints from me. The only thing I will say is the gearbox is just a little bit laggy, which is interesting when you consider this has the mild hybrid system attached to it, which should in theory kind of fill the gap, right, between gear changes. But if anything, it feels a little bit laggier than the old one, which is a bit strange. The one thing this mild hybrid system is very good at though is starting the engine quickly. I mean, it's basically like it's on but at 0 revs. And that is a very nice thing indeed. Because one thing that's plagued Audis for years is just a really slow and laborious start-stop system. I don't know why, but their system always seems to take ages to start the engine. Whereas now we've got this 48 volt mild hybrid system. I mean, it's like electric levels of response. It's very nice. But the engine just feels slightly laggy. It's very odd. Then in terms of parking, one thing I really like about the Q5 is despite its kind of slightly curvy looks, it's actually still a very boxy shape. So parking it in tighter spaces around London is very easy actually. It's about the right size. Obviously it's the same size really as an Audi A5, just slightly wider. My god, that rear wiper is loud. Scared the crap out of me. This being a high-spec car, we've got a overhead 360 camera, then of course a reverse camera with lines telling us where we're going to go, and some nice, accurate parking sensors. And then once you're in a space, getting out of the car, you can pretty much always get to the first notch in the door. There are a couple of occasions where I haven't been able to do it, but 99% of the time you're going to be able to get out in a supermarket car park very easily. And then the other neat thing about a 360 camera is that we have a front view as well, which is very nice when you're coming out of junctions because you can kind of just see around the car a little bit. And then you've got a even wider angle for when you're sort of like, say, next to a hedge and you can't see over it. You can literally see down the road, which is just awesome. Actually really helps. And the sound of it in comfort mode, even though it's fake, it's fine. It's not over the top. But when we get it in dynamic later, yeah, you'll hear how bad it is. For now though, let's just demo coming out of junction. So again, really fast starting engine. Once this ambulance has gone past, I'll demo it. So foot down now, you're off immediately. Zero lag, which is really nice. The only little bit of lag you get is from the turbos, but that electric motor really does help, just allowing you to get in those little gaps in traffic. Anyway, we are going to test the MPG today, so we may as well talk about MPG figures and fuel cost figures. You know, how far will you get once you've filled up, and how much does it cost to put fuel in this thing? So it's claimed to do 40 mpg on the combined cycle, which is what we're going to be testing today. I may as well reset my figure now. And then it's claimed to do 47 mpg on the extra urban cycle, which we won't get because we're only doing 14 miles. If you do a longer journey, maybe you'll get that. But then in terms of distance, this has got a 70 litre fuel tank. So if you use the whole tank, that'll be about 615 miles if you do 40 mpg. And 461 miles to 3/4 of a tank, which is a bit more realistic. You're not going to use a whole fuel tank, are you? Then in terms of cost, it's going to be £101.50 at £1.45 a litre for a whole tank of diesel, and then for the more realistic 3/4 of a tank, £76. Which, you know, if you're getting 460 miles to a tank for 76 quid, I think that's a pretty decent deal, don't you? And then of course, being a newer diesel, we have the AdBlue tank, but you only have to fill that up roughly, I think, every 5,000 miles, so it's not really a big cost. Anyway, now we've talked numbers, let's experience some numbers, and I'm talking about the torque. Let's get the traction off and get this thing in dynamic and experience what 700 Newton meters feels like. Right, let's use our drive select button down here to get us into dynamic. So this will sharpen up the steering, make it heavier, change the gearbox into its sports mode, so change down a couple of gears and hold on to gears for longer. And then let's get the traction in sports. And I'm going to go for manual gears actually. Oh, and yeah, we get that awful noise. Wow, this thing picks up speed pretty quickly. Gosh. Right, let's go from 50 miles an hour and just see how it responds. Actually, let's go in 6th gear, so we're at nice low revs. 45 miles an hour, 1500 RPM, foot down. Look at that. Instant response. That's what you want from a diesel. And up to 70 already before we've even hit 2,500 revs. That's awesome. And the gearbox, when it's in manual mode, do you know what? Feels pretty responsive. For some reason, it's just in drive that it's not that fast. Anyway, I can actually demo what that's like in efficiency mode now whilst coming onto the motorway. Wow, it kills the power and efficiency, that's crazy. Okay, so imagine you're coming onto the motorway, you got 341 horsepower, 700 Newton meters, and you're in efficiency, but you want to experience a bit of power, so you just put your foot down, alright? So plant your foot, and it's kind of like very slightly longer than it should be, but the performance does make up for the fact the gearbox is a bit sluggish in efficiency mode. I mean, the performance is actually freaking insane. like, okay, so let's just let this get into a higher gear, so 8th gear, there we go. In efficiency, 60 miles an hour, come on, slow down a bit. It's actually turning the engine off. And then foot down now. It's just not quite quick enough, but again, the performance of this engine is insane, especially for a diesel. Anyway, once you are on the motorway, we have laminated glass, or acoustic glass as I like to call it, but I keep getting told by press people it's not acoustic, it's laminated. But it stops sound from coming in, that's what it does. Sound deadening glass. So we got basically no wind noise, road noise in Audis is always very low, and suspension is comfortable. It is the perfect car to do a lot of miles in, yet also small enough to be driven around the city. So you kind of get the best of both worlds, really. Then, obviously, once you are on the motorway, cruise control on, and you can get adaptive cruise in these, but you get cruise control as standard, and I think that's good enough, really, if you're on some quieter roads. And yeah, it's just a great car to munch a lot of miles in. And very comfortable, actually. These seats are really good, especially over longer journeys. Anyway, now we're going to test the real-world MPG by doing the average British commute around London of 14 miles. And we're going to test the decibel level. Let's see if this laminated glass really makes a difference. Our little motorway stint over. Unfortunately, a lot of traffic today. However, we've still done 35 miles per gallon, which is a pretty decent figure, all things considered. I think on a long run, you might actually get about 45 mpg out of this thing. And yeah, pretty good figure. Plus, that soundproofing glass definitely does something, because the max number we got was 70.8 decibels at 70 miles an hour. That is pretty impressive. Anyway, it's now time to get this thing back into dynamic mode and get the traction fully off, because it's an Audi, it's a Quattro. We don't need stability control, do we? We just want to have fun. Alright, let's get the armrest in sports mode as well and give it the beans. Woo! This thing picks up pretty quickly. One thing I like about this engine as well is it revs out quite a lot. Coming out of corners, not really any understeer. My lord, this thing is properly fast, isn't it? Like, even when you rev it out, it's quick. Whew. Boostage. It's weird, because you've just got so much torque, it actually feels quicker than the older petrol-powered version. Brakes, yeah, Audi brakes are good. Feel nice and meaty. Let's see what this fake noise sounds like from the outside. And come around corners, can you slide it a bit? Not really. A little bit of oversteer, but nothing crazy. But my lord, this thing picks up speed properly fast. Like, properly fast. Woo. So weird, because it's like at a low amount of revs, but you're picking up speed so quickly. Nice snappy gearbox as well. Suspension controls the mass of this thing nicely. And the steering, much better than the old one. It feels much more dynamic, much sharper as well. Right, it is time for a 0 to 60, I think. Zero to 60 then, it's claimed to do it in 5 seconds flat, and we managed a very respectable time of 5.13 seconds. Not only is that faster than the previous SQ5 diesel, but it's also exactly the same time as a V8 powered 525 horsepower Land Rover Defender. That is pretty cool. Okay, everything's still in dynamic, traction off. Nice damp road, perfect for Quattro really, isn't it? This thing gets a fair old lick on, my lord. When the old diesel one was quick, this is ridiculous. The response is immediate, and the top end is still properly fast. This thing is crazy quick. The 0 to 60 time doesn't really sum it up. I suppose the 30 to 70 time does. Nearly as fast as a Golf R, and something this big is crazy. That's 60 before the corner, very easily, might I add. It's just third and fourth gear. Maybe because they're close to each other. It just makes this thing feel like a missile. Yeah, it doesn't really understeer that much either, to be fair. Good lord, it's so stable. Right, one last time then. I mean, the fun is over in milliseconds. It is mad. It's almost making me feel sick, it's so fast. And it's not like crazy playful on the throttle, but you can still feel the car moving around, and to be honest, to get it to move around, you have to be going silly fast. Crikey. That is insane. It's almost left me speechless. And then, you know, whack the traction back on, get yourself in comfort, and you're back to just regular Audi. But my lord, for a diesel, this thing is bonkers. Yeah, I'd say it's actually up there with the BMW 335D, in all honesty. It has that kind of, that feeling of ridiculous amounts of unwavering torque that car has. But my lord, this thing is a beast. For me though, those fake exhausts and that speaker totally ruin it. If they had just gone with, I'd rather if they had just gone with no exhausts. It would have been so much better, in all honesty. But the way this thing drives is glorious. I think on the used market, it's a pretty good buy. You'll get over 40 miles per gallon in it, and you can embarrass some hot hatches, especially if you remap this thing. I mean, oh my god, imagine if you remap this thing. That'd be insane. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy it, and you do like the rest of our content, please give this video a like and why not subscribe. As not only can you see more content like this, of course, you can see everything we have for sale, which should include this Audi SQ5, as it's literally just come into the dealership. Might not be on the website yet, so there might not be a link down below, but if there is a link down below, please go check it out. And then if you're not into a car with fake exhausts and a speaker, you can check out everything else that Paragon Cars has for sale. Anyway, my name has been Tom, and you have been watching Paragon Cars. I'll see you guys on the next one. Cheers.